I'm back! Do you realise that I've seen every single match this year for the first time ever, except the last match at the Lane? What a disaster!
Poorly timed holiday, I would say.
Very poor, very poor.
So we'll just
get a good time at least.
Yeah, I had a good time, but my plane came back half an hour early, which is you never heard of before. And I could have got a taxi from Heathrow Airport to the ground in time, but you guys have got the tickets. So no, but I got home in time to watch it on TV, and it was just the most fantastic match to watch.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the flags. You know me, I thought that when we played at Chelsea we had bags and they had flags, and that's why we lost. Now we had flags, and that's why we won so well.
Definitely, that was definitely a factor. So I guess we'll just look back at the season. It's been a great season for Spurs. You know, we've done so well, progressed so much since last season. Who would you say was your player of the year for the season?
Player of the year?
Yeah, who had the best year?
Oh, that's really difficult. I would have said that if he hadn't finished early, it was definitely Rose.
Danny Rose.
I thought that he really played well. And I think having those two wing backs made the season, because the other teams didn't know which side to go. Yeah. So it was really difficult because they were lost either side, and that was the biggest challenge that we have. So I would put it down to Danny Rose.
You know, they gave it to Eriksen.
Yeah, well, Eriksen was great in the midfield, and he kept everything moving. Yeah. But I would have given it to Rose.
The thing is, with Rose, he had a great first half of the season. Eriksen didn't have a great first half of the season at all.
Yeah.
He had an amazing second half of the season, but I would have probably given Player of the Year to Wanyama. I thought throughout the whole season he was just a complete beast in that central midfield and held the team together, really.
Yeah. Probably one of our most consistent players of the season, I would say.
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard to choose because everybody played so well. I mean, people like Davis and Trippier came up at the end of the season, really improved.
I think especially Davis, because everyone was slating Davis.
Yeah, I was. And what's his name? Toby, another guy. You know, really made a difference in the back row. So it was very hard to say who was. They're all very close to the top. There wasn't really a bad player.
Last season, I would have said Vertonghen was our best centre back, but Alderweireld was our best centre back. But Vertonghen actually, I think, outdid him this season.
I was about to say, I think I would actually give player of the year to Jan Vertonghen this season. I think.
Would you?
Yeah, and he had a one little injury during, I think it was like February, March time when after we played West Brom, but he's pretty much played every game. Part of the best defensive unit in the Premier League, see the least goals. I think he has been the most consistent. He's been a stalwart in that defence. He's really come back of the Jan of old, stepping forward into midfield. You see how many times this season he's driven forward, and it's really been great to see. I think Jan's, Toby was unbelievable last season. I think Toby's stepped him on, but I think Jan has been our best player this season.
It's so hard because. What about Kane? You know, when we mentioned Kane, we haven't mentioned Son. I mean, I thought Son is getting better and better. Yeah. You know, Dele Alli was good. I think the main thing was the team was good. Yeah. I don't think we should even think about who was the man of the match.
Player of the year was probably Pochettino, wasn't it? Yeah. To put it into perspective, our defensive record, we conceded the same amount of goals in the league than Juventus did, and they're widely regarded as the best defence in the world.
Yeah. Obviously, we've had so many great matches this season. Especially at home. What would you say is your favourite? What was your game of the season? Your favourite match of the season?
Beating Manchester City.
Well, the early in October.
Yeah.
That
was 4-1.
No, it was 2-0.
2-0. Sorry.
Yeah.
2-0. That was just a great match because it was the time when Manchester City was being seen as the team that was going to win the league. Yeah. And we outperformed them.
What was your favourite one, Sim?
My favourite match of the season? It's a tough call. I'll probably say when we beat Chelsea when we ended their run.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, we beat Chelsea because they came into their match on the back of 13 wins in a row, and they looked like it was unstoppable. They were just beating everyone in their sight, and we really came up that game. We matched them up with their 3-4-3, and Dele Alli and Eriksen were just too much to handle that day. We barely even conceded a chance, and it really showed how good we can be when we're on top of our game. And best team in the league, 13 wins in a row, on top form, and they couldn't match us.
So what about the Arsenal one? We beat them
Absolutely.
to finish above them.
Obviously, there's been a lot of highs this season. There's also been a few lows. There's been obviously we're going to end the season without a trophy again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what would you say? What would you say was the hardest match to watch for you this season, or your worst game of the season?
Everton, Chelsea.
Everton, Chelsea.
The championship matches at Wembley.
Yeah, the Champions League matches. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really difficult, and because there was so much excitement to go to Wembley and to see it, and then to see them not only did they lose, but they didn't play well, and they were missing that. And I'm sure it's the pitch. They were missing their crosses.
Yeah.
They were even missing their headers at Wembley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because the bounce is different, everything changes.
What do you think it was? Do you think it was the occasion they got to the players? Because most of the players hadn't played in Champions League before.
No, I think it's the pitch.
You think it's the pitch?
Yeah, I think it's the pitch. I think it's suddenly playing on a new pitch, which makes all the difference. And you think that their training ground, their pitches are the same as that, and they're used to it. They're used to the bounce. They're used to the field. They make a huge difference. Those little differences. I know you don't like comparing it with rugby, but yet we're playing in New Zealand at the moment, and we played one of their second-rate teams where we should have won enormous amount. But the ball, the funny little ball that they play with, the oval ball, is slightly smaller. People that were normally getting the kicks through the bars weren't getting them.
Wow.
And so the little things make a difference when you're that talented as a footballer.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that is an issue. And I do think that Pochettino is the sort of guy that will recognise that,
Of course.
and teach. I still reckon that the best thing that Pochettino did, he taught them how to head the ball. He taught them how. You hardly saw them miss a header.
The whole season.
The
Yeah.
whole
They're
season.
such big guys.
Well, even the small guys.
Yeah.
Son and people like that. They jumped and they timed it, and they always seem to get the ball, which makes a huge difference.
Especially from goal kicks and stuff.
Yeah,
from
makes a
goal
huge
kicks,
difference.
Throughout the years, I just remember people shouting around me at Spurs, second ball Tottenham, and we never used to go for the second ball, but now
The Warriors now.
we're absolute warriors.
Who do you think our worst signing was this season? Or worst player of the season, maybe?
Worst player of the season?
Yeah, worst player of the season.
There's only one player, isn't there?
So, what's his name?
Sissoko.
No, the other
Or
guy,
Vincent Janssen?
Janssen.
No, I wouldn't give it to Janssen. I'll give it to Sissoko.
Yeah, was it 30 million? Did we pay for him?
Yeah.
Sissoko.
That was really, that was a
It was a
bad.
panic
That was a
buy.
bad
It was a
buy.
panic buy.
I don't think.
Do you think any big players leaving? I know there's a lot of talk about Walker.
I think that would be the most saddest thing if Walker goes. They seem to be talking about it, and they're offering a lot of money.
The thing is, I can't think of any right backs. Well, maybe one or two, but he's literally in the top 3 right backs in the world
At the moment.
for
Yeah.
his physicality, for his speed. I just can't
He really dominates that right hand side.
really dominate. I can't think of another player who does that. Danny Alves, but he's 34 years old.
Yeah. It's unlikely we'll find anyone. Would have to find the best. I think our best option either would have to be to find a young right back and train him up.
Kyle Walker-Peters.
Either Carl Walker Peters or bring someone in. Trippier is really going to have to step up if we sell Walker. I think he can, but there's just a question mark.
He's not fast enough, Trippier.
It's just a question mark. It's just his physicality is the only question mark.
Pace.
Will he get out muscled? Will he get outrun?
Because his delivery in the box is second to none.
Yeah, that's we all know that. His not even that, just his passing, his general play on the ball is fantastic. So we keep Walker. Where would you say we need to improve in the starting? If we were to sign a player, if we were looking to sign a player somewhere, what position would you think we should be focusing on?
Big question.
Well,
There's not a lot of people there's not a lot available better than what we've got in the starting 11.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the model. I like to model players and say, well, that's the model of the player I would like, and the player I would like to see us buy is another Modric.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's that centre there, controlling the centre. Dembele does it, but it doesn't do it
Can
well
Harry
enough.
Winks be our new Modric?
I don't think so.
Well, he's only 21, so he could always grow into that position.
Yeah, maybe.
You have to look at a player like Harry Kane, who came through our academy. No one really thought he was going to be the player he is today. And these players, they burst into life and they come into their own.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Who we signed in the summer?
There's
a lot of talk of Ryan Sessegnon, 17-year-old Fulham left back.
Right.
He's been ripping up the Championship this season.
Yeah, he's very similar to Danny Rose actually in how he plays.
Well, it all depends on the squad. You need a squad. You don't just need a starting 11.
I agree with you, because then you can chop and change.
That's where we fell short a little bit this season.
Not
that we fell short on having a squad. We just had too many injuries to cope with it.
It was kind of the issue in the first half of the season, but in the second half of the season we did have very similar injuries that we did have in the first half. I think we learned our lesson in terms of coping with it.
Yeah.
I think there was times where Walker, Dembele, Rose, Toby were all out at the same time, and Kane as well, and we coped really well. We were winning games 4-0, and I think we really came along. I think we've learned, and we actually learned during the season how to deal with our squad. I don't think the squad was that big of an issue past November time.
Like, it just doesn't fill you with great confidence when you're 1-0 down or 1-1 and you bring on Sissoko.
No.
Kind of like, I think where we lost the season was our away form. Like, our season last year, our away form was so much better than it was this season.
I don't think it was.
It wasn't?
I
felt like it anyway.
Yeah, it felt like it. I think it was actually at the end of the day, we ended up with pretty similar.
Yeah, because we ended off the season very well.
I take my hat off to Pochettino, because he really did learn from last year.
Yeah.
We really fell apart last year. This year he put everything into it to prove that we wouldn't fall apart. And we're very unlucky because Chelsea were playing so well that. Isn't it right that the number of points we had would normally have won the league?
Yeah, well, in 11 of the last 20 seasons, they would have won the league.
11 of the last.
So 86 points, our highest ever.
86 points, exactly.
And our goal was better than Chelsea's.
What's the stat on the goal average?
Yeah, the stat is that if you take all our Premier League seasons up until this point, our goal difference is something like plus 50, and we got plus 52 this season. So we actually in one season we've beaten our whole Premier League goal difference.
It's unbelievable.
Wow. That's incredible.
Which is actually,
a lot of that came in the last few matches as well.
Exactly.
I think that the biggest challenge that we're going to have, I think it's a really serious big challenge, is that we played brilliantly at home. We didn't lose a match in the whole season, which is the first time for 60 odd years. Yeah. But next season we're going to be at Wembley and to away games. It's going to be like playing away every match, and we didn't do so well when we played away.
And it's not
I think that's the challenge.
It's not only that; it's that other teams, the smaller teams, come to play at Wembley. It'll be like a cup final to them.
Yeah.
A proper day out at Wembley. Everyone's going to try their hardest against us next season because they're going to want a big day out at Wembley and want to win at Wembley.
And if you look forward, if they finish the ground in time, which there's lots of talk that they're not going to,
I think they will.
We'll be playing away again, because we'll be playing away until we get used to the new ground. So I think it's going to be a tough 2 years.
It's literally come at the wrong time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't make the last game at White Hart Lane, but what would you say? You're going to miss about it?
The flags.
You definitely miss that.
What are you going to miss the most?
I think the usual pre-match traditions we used to go to.
I don't think that's going to change.
Well, we'll see what's still there.
Wembley it will, but when you go back, you're still going to have that same cafe we go to. It's still going to be open.
No, he says it's not. He said it's been redone.
No, when we went in there, he said, "See you in 2 years."
That's true. Yeah, the team did.
And they asked about you in there, by the way.
Yeah, they said, "Where's your dad?"
That's nice, actually. That does make me feel younger.
It's sad not ever going there again, because it's all we've ever known.
Yeah.
Going there since we were 7 years old with Dad, But there's a lot to look forward to. This new stadium is going to be insane. That Cop Park Lane end is going to be mad.
We're really looking forward to that. Really hope we keep the same intensity in the atmosphere that we have. We can have White Hart Lane. Obviously, it's not been like that every game. Same with most Premier League grounds. But
what they did wrong when we played at the Champions League at Wembley this year was it was kind of a free for all, so nobody knew where everyone was sitting, and Paxton people were sitting with Park Lane people, and Chelsea were sitting with West Ham. But what they've done this year is each block they've put together
Yeah.
at Wembley. So I think that could make a bit of a difference to the atmosphere.
You made me think. I remember when we went to the first with Ben. We went to the first match, and we were standing at the back somewhere, and there was Ralph's a wanker. Ben said to me, "Grandpa, what's a wanker?" I don't know how you've learned. I hope you've learned now what a wanker
Well, you didn't tell me. What did you tell me?
Ask your dad.
Brilliant. So what is a wanker then? That's not
All those years.
Well, that's Sissoko. Yes.
What are you looking forward to next year, Wembley? Is there anything you're really, excited about?
At Wembley.
Yeah. Obviously,
If we are excited that I believe that Pochettino is so good that he'll be brilliant at actually sorting us out in Wembley, and we'll still see some beautiful football.
I agree. When anything goes wrong, or whenever you think something's going to go wrong, you always got to think to yourself, we got Pochettino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I would say about in terms of what I think Poch actually got wrong this season was how he dealt with the Champions League campaign in terms of his rotation. Because I did think he did mess it up a bit. This is his first season managing in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a young manager. He's still learning. People forget that. Managers are also learning. Just as players can improve, managers can improve. But how he dealt with the final two games.
It's very difficult when these
Champions
players are
League.
playing 2 or 3 games in a week.
I agree with you.
It's hugely difficult to do rotation. That's why we need a bigger.
But I tell you why I was disappointed with because he went to Monaco and we really needed to win that game.
That didn't make sense to me.
No, but I'll tell you why. Because when we rested players for Monaco, you think, okay, he's rested and we go out the Champions League. You think, okay, fine. He's made a decision. He's made that decision to rest players because he thinks that we need that full week fresh to play Chelsea on the Saturday. We end up losing that game as well, which is bad enough. But then we have a dead rubber pretty much against Moscow, and we have a big game on that weekend against United, which we needed to be fresh for. And he plays a full strength team against Moscow when we didn't need to, and then we go out against United and we got beaten United because we looked sluggish, and that I think that might have cost us a bit because
those actual 2-3 weeks cost our season.
It did really cost us, and I think he's really got to learn from that, and he did make a mistake there, and I think he probably acknowledges that.
So what about this video program? What are we going to do to living it up next year? What I'd like to hear is there's 5,000 views we've had.
50,000.
Sorry, 50,000 views. Those of you that are viewing it, if you think there's things you would like to see from us, please put it on Facebook.
Yeah,
put it on the comments below.
On the comments
please
below.
let us know. It's a long time from now till the start
because
of
we're
the
very
season,
excited about doing this, and we want to make it interesting and keep making it interesting.
This is not just our channel, it's your channel
Exactly,
too.
it's all Spurs fans.
We are Tottenham TV.
Exactly.
We are Tottenham. We are Tottenham. 3D.
Super Tottenham.
Super
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
From the lane.
Well, from Wembley.
From Wembley.
Now, we'll always be Tottenham from the lane, no matter where they put us.
It's been a pleasure as always. Come and sit down with you, Grandpa. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah, great.
That concludes our season
That
review.
concludes the season.
Um,
See you all again soon.
And
Come on, you Spurs!